Mike Sutton here with Mobilitechs. I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of great clients in the local area. This month I'm putting the spotlight on Exeter Ambulance Association. I had the chance to sit down with Leo. Here's the interview. Hey, Mike Sutton with Mobilitechs. I have the chance today to speak with Leo Mijares of Exeter Ambulance Association. Leo, thanks for meeting with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell me what you do here and a little bit about the association?
Mike, I'm the education coordinator for Exeter Ambulance. Our organization is local 911 ambulance where we respond to 911 emergencies, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so responding to emergencies, wheelchair transport is part of what you do here?
Yes.
Also the training programs?
Yes. We have a training program. One of our jobs is training programs to keep our providers' certifications up to to the level where they're supposed to be with training. But we also provide training not only for our providers but for local providers and local doctors and nurses, and also for the community.
So that would be doctors, nurses, and other first responders.
Yes.
And then also some community programs. So
Yes.
what are some of the programs that you offer?
One of the things that we try to offer is Heart Saver CPR. We also could offer Heart Saver CPR and first aid training. And what it does, that CPR trains for non-medical people to learn how to do CPR, to learn how to do the AED, and learn a little bit about first aid. So that's for non-medical people to be able to take courses so they feel comfortable that if they do have to do something, they know what to do in an emergency.
The AED is that thing I see hanging on the wall in the mall every once in a while.
Yeah, you see them in the mall, you see them in the airports, hospitals. Yeah, even though it's a hospital, they do have them positioned in certain places. Police stations. A lot of public offices have AEDs readily available.
And so the training is how to use that when it's appropriate to use
exactly that. If you do happen to come up to somebody that's in potential cardiac arrest, how to determine if they are truly in cardiac arrest, and if they are, how to start CPR, continue CPR, and employ the AED to possibly save their life.
Okay. So if I'm a business owner, maybe if I run a gym or a daycare or something like that where I've got a lot of other people, what are some of those businesses that would really benefit from keeping their staff up to date on that kind of training? I
think currently right now, some of our clients include gyms, because people are working out, you never know what may happen. Gyms, churches sometimes order AEDs and order the training. Large businesses have AEDs. It's pretty much anywhere. We even have some clients where people personally buy AEDs for their homes because they notice the potential risk of possibly not having. And one of the things with studies have shown that sometimes with doing CPR and employing the AED sooner could possibly save a life. So a lot of people are taking notice to that and wanted to have an AED close by.
So if I'm a business that falls into one of those categories, or I'd like to keep my some of my staff trained, how often do I need to stay on top of that? Is that something I need to schedule every year or every couple years? Is it just an ongoing program we send people to whenever we want? What's that look like?
One of the things, the actual class that we do, if we're doing non-medical people, the Heart Saver, or the healthcare professional CPR, it's every 2 years. Every 2 years you have to recertify that card. When it comes to the AED, our clients, when they purchase an AED, we include the CPR training, one-time CPR training for their staff. So if they have a staff of 6, or we do the training for them to show them CPR and show them how to use the AED. And normally what happens when they have new staff that come in, they usually either call ahead or go on our website to see when our upcoming classes are, and they send their staff to our classes to make sure they get the training so they know how to use the AED.
So that the certification is good for 2 years. If I was certified 5 or 6 years ago, is that something I need to worry about?
It is. One of the things that they notice is if you are the people that take the certification class and don't do it that often, you forget a lot of the skills. You forget a lot of the little steps that could make a difference. So every 2 years, we recommend every 2 years you get, well, it's not a recommendation. The AHA says every 2 years you have to do the class over again or recertify. The AHA also has every 5 years they update the whole CPR curriculum.
Okay.
So they're always coming up with the latest studies, the latest sciences. So every 5 years, the AHA, American Heart Association, updates the whole curriculum. Every 2 years, we recertify our CPR training.
So if I haven't done it for 5 years, it may be a completely different
Completely
program,
different, yeah, completely different because medicine's always evolving. So we've noticed that what used to work 6 years ago potentially doesn't work now.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the businesses. If I'm just a member of the community, when are the times I might want to look at getting certified?
One of the things that we're going to try to do is try to do it like in spring or maybe mid-spring before the summer and potentially in the fall to try to get some classes for the community for them to be able to learn CPR or first aid.
And who would be good candidates for those classes?
I think pretty much anybody. One of the things that we try to market is new parents, if they've never had children before, or parents with children, just to learn how to do CPR because we do go over infant CPR and child CPR. New parents, grandparents, pretty much anybody that could think of that they could possibly use, CPR.
And there, the repeat training would be useful. If I have an infant and come to training, then 5 years later, not only might the techniques have changed, but now I'm not dealing with an infant anymore, I'm dealing with a toddler. And then 5 years later, a small child, not a toddler. So staying on top of that, I can see it could be really important. What about for kids?
We offer CPR training. There is no minimum age, but we want to make sure that we're teaching CPR to younger adults that have the maturity to be able to learn CPR. So we try to teach them to high school kids that may possibly have I'm the brain fart here.
The babysitting.
Yeah, so we try to teach high school kids that have a job in babysitting, and I know other areas around the state do that, and we try to offer that to be able to learn CPR for babysitters. And it's not just limited to babysitters.
So for kids, might be a little too young to actually learn CPR. The parents might want to talk to them about 911 and how to respond if something goes on. But then when they get to be teenagers and they're looking at lifeguarding and babysitting and having a job where they're out working, someplace else, the CPR becomes more useful.
It is. It definitely is.
Great. So in terms of community programs, what do you have that kind of happens throughout the year?
Every year we do a community CPR. It's free for the community. We try to sponsor it in February because February is Heart Month. So we try to do a free community CPR yearly. We also have open house in May time. Open house where the community can come into Exeter Ambulance and take a look at our ambulances. We also have the fire department here, the police department, and the police does a demonstration, the fire department may have one of their ladder trucks here, and we all together do a demonstration at the end to show, it could be a potential, car accident with a drunk driver, how the police responds, the fire responds, and also first responders.
And those are great programs throughout the year, not really training specifically related, but one thing it might be important for people to know is the Ambulance Association is not publicly funded.
Correct.
The revenue that you earn from the training programs and from the activities that you undertake is what keeps the Ambulance Association running. What's your message to the community about keeping this resource here?
I think I'm not really sure in the community if they really know what we do. They know Exeter Ambulance and they automatically assume that it's just ambulance stuff that we do. We do respond to 911s. We also do medical transports either from a hospital to another hospital or from the home to a hospital, from the home to an appointment. And we also do training. It's almost like a one-stop shop here. We do 911 transports and training. And I think if they know the stuff that we do, they please support us and come for either our training. We also send out memberships. Support us with memberships because you're right. Because we're not we don't get revenue from the local government here. We pretty much sustain ourselves.
So everything you do is based on money that comes in from
Correct.
members, from the actual transportation activities, or from these training programs.
Correct.
So you're definitely looking for community support
Definitely.
for a lot of these programs and to keep things going.
Definitely.
Great. Anything else you want to share today?
No, I think that's it.
All right, great. Thanks for
Right.
taking the time to talk to me today,
Thank you for
Leo.
having me.
Leo Mijares and the Exeter Ambulance Association.